the best there is at what we do. And what we do is talk about Uncanny X-Men comics. Because this is Uncanny, the mutant musings of Matt and Siz. It's the show where we discuss Marvel's Uncanny X-Men comic, issue by issue, all the way from 1975's giant-size X-Men #1 to the present day. My name is Matt, and I write and draw Steamroller Man, a comedy superhero comic which you can read for free online at steamrollerman.com. And this is Siz, my co-host, who is the publisher, promoter, and founder of Comics Studios Australia. You can find everything comics at comics.net.au. That's comx.net.au. Hello, Siz.
Hello, Matt. How are you on this
good.
Lovely morning? Although my morning, I don't know if it's your morning.
It's my afternoon in Los Angeles, and it's your lovely morning in Australia.
Yeah, time zones, you gotta love them. Yeah,
gotta love them. Always a challenge.
Always getting mixed up. One thing I want to say about this, so glad after the last one. But
Me too. Me too. The first note that I wrote was, "Thank God we're back in into the regular story."
This was awesome.
Yeah, what a way to come back, right?
Yeah,
This blows your socks off, this issue.
Right. They probably needed a bit of extra time to do this. Maybe that's what it was, and that's why
I think that's most likely what the problem, not problem, but I think that's the reason why issue 106 that we talked about in the last episode was a fill-in issue. It's because this issue is so full of characters, action, drama, like it's got it all. There's literally, I think I wrote down at some point, like, how many characters were in in one of the pages that.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, you counted them, nice.
Yeah, I added them all up, and I was like, okay, there's all. Well, we'll get into it. I don't want to jump the gun. But you get a sense of what's going to happen in this issue from this cover.
Yeah.
They're using the tried and true style of cover where it's things coming in from the edges of frame in the foreground, and the characters are looking from the midground towards the foreground. Actually, I used that exact formula on my cover for Steamroller Man #1, which you can't see well here, but I have the gingerbread golem coming from the foreground and Steamroller Man looking out towards him. So it's just a very well-worn kind of graphic device that superhero comics use, and this cover's no exception. Dave Cockrum kind of outdoes himself here with, as he does throughout this issue, with the number of characters that he's drawing, but not only drawing, but also designing as well. Yeah. Like, so much design work went into this issue.
Yeah. Did he design the Starjammers, do you know?
I think he did.
Oh, wow. That's so cool. Yeah. Down the bottom of the cover, it says, "The Incredible Saga of the Starjammers."
Which, I love the Starjam. Like, the Starjammers is one of the concepts from the X-Men that I've always really loved, and I've always thought, why don't they do like a why don't they give the Starjammers like their own comic? Because it'd be so fun. It's a bunch of space pirates essentially, so you can kind of do anything with that concept. I've always wondered why Marvel didn't do a Starjammers comic, but what do I know?
To my memory, they didn't. So a bit weird.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even think of a miniseries, to be honest.
No, I can't either.
Yeah,
which it's sort of baffling because they're really cool. They're these really cool kind of side characters, but they never, and they could totally be fleshed out into like, we're gonna do an actual book starring these characters and make them the focus. You could totally do it, but to my knowledge, Marvel's never done it. So anyway,
correct us if we're wrong in the comments.
Yeah,
As far as I know, they have.
Marvel is listening. That's our suggestion. Do a Starjammers comic. Do it now.
Sorry. Okay,
so we start going through.
I'll get to the official stuff.
Yes,
okay, so
yes.
we've got Where No X-Men Has Gone Before is the title of this one. It is 107. October 77 is when it came out or published or whatever that month means. Author, we're back to Chris Claremont. We're back to Dave Cockrum as the artist. We've got Dan Green as the inker. This still fascinates me that the letterer, because it's different nowadays, but the letterer, Joe Rosen, is above the colours, who is Andy Yoches, I think.
Yeah, Yanchus, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's Yanchus.
But
I don't know.
Archie Goodwin is back as the editor.
Is now the editor.
Although was he the editor last one? I can't remember.
I'm not sure.
He disappears further on because I have read ahead. So, yeah.
Right.
I shouldn't give that away.
One thing I thought was interesting was seeing Dan Green as the inker, because Dan Green, when I started like regularly collecting the X-Men as a teenager, it was the run. It was just before Dan Green took over. It was just before Mark Silvestri took over as the penciler, and Dan Green was like his regular inker on the X-Men, on Uncanny X-Men. So it's interesting to see that his tenure with the X-Men was starting way before that.
Yeah.
Even though this was sort of a one-off issue and he doesn't come back for a while.
Oh, okay.
But he does a great job on Cockrum's pencils, I think. I mean, just look at that splash page image of the team.
It's awesome.
They're all drawn so well. The posing and just really nice, crisp ink work on that picture. It's just great. And I've said, I think I say this every episode of this show, but I just love these designs. Like, these costume designs are so iconic and classic.
Agreed.
And you know, it just hasn't gotten better than, you know, in a metaphorical sense. Like, it doesn't get better than this, really. Like, these costumes have become so iconic and stood the test of time, and I think that's just a testament to Dave Cockrum's talent, you know.
Yes. Well, this episode or issue, I keep calling the comics episodes. Kerry makes fun of me for doing it.
Well, this is our episode about this issue of the comic. Yes,
I keep calling it episode of the comic. There's a lot of characters that he's designed.
Well, wait till you turn the page.
Yeah,
this ain't nothing.
Exactly. And that's not even all of them. There's more of them pop up throughout the sequence.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, this is just mind-boggling. Like, to turn the page and to see on this double-page spread alone, like, all these character designs, it's crazy. I think, I don't know whether... Oh, no, it's later when the Starjammers actually show up that I went back and I counted, like, okay, we've got this page 2 and 3 double-page spread. How many characters are on here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Counted all those. Then you count the 5 X-Men members. Then you count the 5 Starjammers. I think it ends up being like over 30 characters or something that he designed, and it's all in this one issue. And some of these characters, I'm sure he had the designs kind of in a sketchbook somewhere, just sort of like, oh, this is kind of cool. This would look cool at some point. Because there's a guy on the extreme right edge of the frame. He's in green and he's got a purple sort of face with antennas. Now, he looks a lot like... Yeah, he looks familiar because he looks like Chameleon Boy, who is a member of the Legion of Superheroes. Now, I don't know whether... Say that again?
they've got the same powers, I might say.
And they do have the same powers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm like, whoa, that's a
absolutely true.
bit cheeky.
Yeah. So I don't know if Cockrum designed Chameleon Boy as well, or he's just riffing on that design with this guy here. But yeah, I just noticed that similarity. One thing I thought was funny on this page was, like, you see all these weird characters, and then one of them points at the X-Men and says, "Aliens!"
Yeah, I like that as well. That was cool.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. But yeah, what a page!
Yeah,
what a double page
would
spread.
Be aliens to them.
Right, exactly. Shall we go to the next page?
Yeah, we shall.
Okay, so we find out on this page that this whole group of characters are the Imperial Guard of the Shi'ar race, and the Shi'ar race, as we discovered 2 issues ago, was who Lilandra is, like the monarch of, or she's supposed to be the monarch of this alien race called the Shi'ar, and she's been the victim of this kind of coup by her brother Deken, I think his name is, and so these are like the Royal Guard, and they've all got different powers, they've all got different costumes. Really interesting group.
Yeah, they are. It's like Legion of Superheroes on steroids. So much cooler. No offense, DC, but these are way cooler.
Yeah. Well, it's Dave Cockrum again,
Yeah. Well, in the second panel there, what I love is we've got an obvious jab at Brainiac, the green dude with the things on his head.
Oh, yes, in the background.
And he's called Mentor because he gets blasted first. I'm going, yeah, everyone who gets blasted first seems to be the rip-offs. Because even the purple guy reminds me of another character from, what was he called? Yeah, a lot of them reminded me of them. And then when you think about it, Gladiator is just a Superman, or Superboy.
Yeah.
But they don't show off his power in this. I'm curious if he hadn't been sort of fleshed out yet, because this is their first issue, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And they hadn't fleshed him out as this, like, absolute powerhouse.
I was wondering that too, for the same reason. Like, you can obviously only fit so much into one issue. Like, I think there's only 17 pages of story in this issue. So you can obviously, there's only so many characters that can get the spotlight. But yeah, I was wondering that too, because I remember reading in the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, remember those
I love those books. I love them.
Ones that they published in the 80s, where it just had listed all the statistics and stuff.
Yeah, it was
and
awesome.
The character origins and stuff. And I remember I had one that had the Shi'ar Imperial Guard in it, and it did list like all their names and all their powers and stuff like that. So, but I was wondering the same thing as you, like how many of them at this stage had names or had powers, or were they just like Dave Cockrum?
It was a cool design.
Please just populate this panel with as many weird looking characters as you can, and Chris Claremont will figure out who they are and what they do later or whatever. So yeah, I'd love to know like the process, the back and forth that went into this issue, because it's so massive, so many moving parts, literally. Well, not literally, because it's a comic and it's just static images, but you know what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Figuratively, so many
everyone is.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
And they do a good job.
Oh, they really do. Yeah. It's, you never get a sense of the story logic falling apart. You never go like, well, hang on, like, why is this like that? And it all holds together really well, and it's moving. Like the story. That's one thing I love since we've been doing this show. really gained an appreciation for Chris Claremont's skill at keeping a story moving, like just the
Yep.
propulsive nature of it's always just action, action, action. And then, there'll occasionally be like maybe a 2-page scene where the characters just sort of stop and have a conversation. But it's usually like these issues are action packed.
Yeah, they are.
One funny thing on this page is, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm interested in what you have to say.
Oh, so one thing I noticed was that so Cyclops is not exactly a diplomat. He says in panel 1, let's see if they'd rather talk than fight. But then he gives up on that really
Straight
quickly because in panel 3 he just zaps the mentat. What's he called? Mentor. He just zaps him. So it's like you were the one who wanted to talk, and you're striking the first blow. That doesn't really work.
I love that. Yeah, actually, yeah, good point. I noticed that as well. I just forgot it now. I was like, well, okay, that escalated quickly.
Yeah. So then now we're rolling with this battle, this like huge superhero battle starts, and in the final panel on this page, you can see like now everybody's attacking everybody else, and things are going to get crazy.
And what I love about this, I'll go to the next page.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 5 of them, and they're taking on like an army of superheroes, superpowered beings. So this is really showing off. It is just 5, isn't it? I had counted that right.
I think so.
There's Jean Grey as well, 6.
Right.
But she's not doing much. She's all collapsed and doing the thing she does best.
Not at this stage. Yeah.
Sorry, I shouldn't make fun of Jean. She's all powerful and she'll make a mess of me. But what I love about this is they're holding their own against like this whole battalion of super powered beings.
Yeah.
And that really shows. And one of them even says they fight so well as a team or something like that. And
right.
Yeah. So I love that little bit of a thing in there showing you that. But I love the handful of what do you call it? Legion of Superheroes, or whatever it's called.
Right. Imperial Guard.
Yeah, how the Imperial Guard is like there's 1 or 2 rip-offs.
Right, yes.
Which I think is like a jab. And that's what I really loved about this era. They do that all the time. DC has a jab at Marvel. Yes. Marvel has a jab at DC. It was all it seemed almost friendly.
Yeah, the friendly rivalry.
Yeah, and that's not how it turned out to be when I was reading them in the 90s. It was quite...
It could be that things were sort of a bit more like big business by the 90s.
Yeah,
and here it was still, I guess sort of like it was kind of a friendly rivalry in the 70s. But yeah,
that's the impression I get.
I think it could be. It's just so close to Legion of Super.
Yeah,
especially on this page.
Close.
Like
it's not even like
this is so close to Chameleon Boy.
He's not even trying to hide it. That's what I love.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Now I don't know. I don't think I have much. You got much to say about this page?
So I just was saying. Panel 1 catches us up on the timeline and informs us that not even a day has passed since issue 104. So I think that since 106, the previous issue was completely out of this continuity and a fill-in. They do need to reorient the viewer on.
Yeah.
Remember where we were before last issue? We would, this all happened, and it's less than a day since the events of issue 104. Also, there's the only other thing I wrote here was in panel 2 we see this simmering tension between Wolverine and Cyclops, which they've maintained, and that
Yes.
kind of became a very well-known thing between those two characters, was this tension. They even introduced it into the X-Men movies. So
too.
yeah. So yeah, but that's all I have to say about this one, beyond the Chameleon Boy thing, which we already talked about. So let's go
Well,
to
all
the
I have to
next
say
one.
is next page.
Next
I
page.
love Nightcrawler's use of his image inducer here
Yes,
to make a
he's
giant
finally.
creature.
Yes, he's finally using it as a strategic weapon rather than just something fun that he can go out to a nightclub on a Friday night with and not freak people out, you know? I wrote that down too. It's like, oh, he's actually using it as a strategic thing for in the middle of a battle. Sorry, I'm just arranging my notes on my little
that's cool.
here.
I mean, we had that thing where he turned into Xavier to sort of trick
that's true.
those dudes, but this is beyond that. That's like a monster to undo the monster and then freak the other dude out and then punch him. Like, whoa.
One thing I like about this page is the layout, just the layout of the page in general. We have different sizes of panels and different shapes of panels. You know, we've got these small, sort of more vertical oblong panels, but then at the bottom we've got these two stretched out panels, panel 5 and 6 at the bottom of the page, and it just makes for a nice visual variety. Keeps the page visually interesting, which is contrary to, I think, one thing that I didn't like about issue 106. I think I mentioned in our previous episode that the panel sizes were all just rectangle, 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 and they were all just kind of the same aspect ratio.
True.
And so that makes for a more a less visually interesting page as a whole. When you have an artist who breaks up the layout like this, at least like this, it just makes it more fun and more interesting to look at. So good on you, Dave Cockrum.
Really well. Yeah, good on you. Because the panels are just brilliantly used as well.
Yep, absolutely.
This one, Wolverine gets fried.
Yeah, so this is
what this ends up causing.
This is very interesting because I'm sure this image in the first panel has been referenced and called back to so many times. Like, you see so many instances of Wolverine getting blasted, and just you see like all the tissue kind of blasting off his bones. So this could possibly be the first time that we've seen this happen, and then it's been copied over and over again. But yeah, always a great image. That the way that they have like all the little kind of dotted lines sort of flying off in the direction that the blast is going. And just one thing I wrote down about this page is the figure drawing work here, like all the posing of the figures in these really awesome action poses. Like you've got the fire. So this guy, is this guy called Firestorm, or is he?
I'm trying to look for Firestorm. Yeah, Solar Firestorm. Oh my god!
Interesting. So this is another. Yeah, I was actually just talking to my wife about how yesterday we were talking yesterday about how you can't actually like copyright names. You can trademark them for the front of a book, but that's the reason why both Marvel and DC have a character called Sandman. You know, DC has the Sandman, Master of Dreams, but they've also got the Golden Age Sandman. And then Marvel has Sandman, the Spider-Man villain. So
Oh yeah.
this is another example of that. Like Marvel has their Firestorm, and DC has a completely different character called Firestorm. So
Yes.
very interesting.
And
So
wish I could
yeah,
remember what the
Wolverine.
name
I
was.
think what you were referring to is Wolverine gets his clothes, his uniform or costume gets blasted off,
Blasted off.
and so he has to change costumes. You don't realize that's why he's attacking
Yeah.
this feral looking dude.
Which I love this. Which is the next? Is it the next page? Oh no, it's not the next page. Other things happen first.
Mm.
Yeah. Have you got more to say about that page before I switch over?
No, let's go. Let's go to the
Let's
next one.
go. And this is what's it called? The Soul Drinker. I'm like, oh,
Soul Drinker. I
that's
love the technique that Cockrum is using to draw the Soul Drinker in panel 3.
Yeah.
Just the way that his form is actually made from Kirby Crackle. So it gives really gives a feeling that it's coming through from sort of some other dimension. It's really well drawn. I love the way that it looks like he's coming through from some other part of space or something, you know?
That's
It
the
looks
impression I
really
got as
cool.
well.
I just love it.
I read this a while ago. I'm forgetting what all this bit at the bottom's about. I was just saying she's no strength. Weird bug creature, which I don't think we see again.
So I think the reason why Jean is sort of out of it is that she used a lot of her power to bring all the X-Men through the Stargate back in 105, I think. So I think this is like a follow on from that, and that's why she's like, oh no, I'm too weak. I don't have my powers yet.
Well, they've got to do that because she's so goddamn powerful.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
At
we
least
see
at this stage, she's like crazy powerful.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Once she gets back on her feet, like there's not really anything that can stop Phoenix. Like she's.
Yeah. I was seriously expecting her to be the one that took out the Imperials.
Oh right.
But she doesn't.
No.
That just ruined the rest of the story. But yeah, she doesn't. So
Spoilers.
Spoilers. But I like this page, and although I couldn't figure out if she's like struck with fear or she really is under some sort of hypnosis type thing by the creature, the Soul Drinker. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not really defined. I think I just sort of read it as like she was paralyzed with fear, but she could actually be under some mind control something and actually like in a trance because the Soul Drinker is doing it to her. You know, now that you bring that up, that's an entirely plausible possibility. So yeah, I don't know. They don't seem to really say one way or the other, but I mean, in any case, Nightcrawler comes to try and rescue Lilandra from the Soul Drinker.
Yes, I love the next page.
So he breaks the chain and frees her so that she can. She was chained up.
Yeah.
What's that?
Once again, showing Nightcrawler is not your normal strength because normal man can't break a chain.
Right. Yeah.
So
exactly.
At this particular stage in his existence, he was a little bit stronger than just the average man. I'm pretty sure that's not the case anymore. But
I don't think so. Yeah.
He's quite strong. I mean, he's punched Juggernaut and done all stuff like that. So they're showing him as a little bit stronger than they do now.
Yeah. One thing I really am liking at this stage of the story, I started to get a real sense of the scope of this. You know, like we're really diving headfirst into full-on space opera type story where it's like these grand kind of, you know, the stakes are so high, and I just think like readers at the time in 1977 must have just been blown away that all
Yeah.
this was happening in the pages of a comic. You know, it's just such a huge kind of the scope. It's just
Yeah.
such a huge story. And I mean, I don't know, but personally, I'm even reading it now. I'm like, got to turn the page. Like it's a real
Yeah, I was the
page
same.
turner type of
Yeah.
story.
What
You
happens next? What
want
happens
to
next? What
keep
happens next?
reading. It's not, you know, you can't say in any way that this is boring or
No.
uninteresting. Like
No, it's awesome.
it keeps you interested and drawn into the story.
Yeah. So the next page is this. Yeah, it is. I love this one. The first time
Mm-hmm.
that I can remember. So, and they're saying it's the first time that Nightcrawler teleported with another person.
Right. Now, if you recall, I think it was back in issue 95, we were talking on the show about like the battle strategy. I can't remember exactly which issue it was. I think it was the one where the X-Men were in the plane and then
Fallen.
Eric the Red disintegrated the plane from around them, so they were falling through the sky, you know, falling through the air. And I think we were sort of asking at that time when we were talking about that issue, like,
Mm-hmm.
can't Nightcrawler just grab each of them and teleport them to the ground? Well, they
Yeah.
finally addressed that
Yes.
because he hasn't ever done it before. And so here it explains like, well, the reason he doesn't do it is because it takes more energy and he's not experienced at teleporting with other people yet. So that's why he didn't do it on that early first
Yeah.
adventure, is because he didn't know, he probably
What would
didn't
happen?
even know he could do it at that
Yeah.
stage. So
That was sort of like instinct kicked in, and he
yeah,
just did it. And then he
yeah,
paid for it.
yeah.
In 4.
Really cool way that they depict the events. I like the way this page is, the first 3 panels are like horizontal aspect,
Mm-hmm.
and then the bottom 3 panels are vertical aspect. Again, it's just a nice, interesting way to lay out the page. And Cockrum's using the 3 panels to show the same, you know, it's 3 stages of the same
Oh, yeah.
event.
Yeah.
So it's like before, during, and after.
Yep. That's
Which, you know, that's a really great storytelling technique. And it's the old, you know, 2 attackers coming from either side, and then you teleport out, and they cancel each other out, like they take each other out because the targets disappeared from between them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I liked this page.
I like the way it rounds the corners on the last one when it's a flashback.
Yes, yes, I like that graphic device
Very
too.
obvious.
Yeah, really simple way to tell the reader, like, this is happening present day, and then these panels with the rounded corners are happening in the past, and the next page is all happening in the past. This is
Oh, yeah. All rounded.
all info dump.
It is big time.
Yeah, so this is all backstory, but it's telling a lot of backstory in one page. That's another thing that's great about these old comics, is the economy that they can use the space on just one page. Sometimes it's not even one page, it's half a page, where they'll recap an entire issue in just such a small amount of real estate on the page. It's really, I think, quite masterfully done. And this page is no exception. This page tells us that there's this super powerful weapon that Lilandra's brother wants to control, and she is in opposition to him. And the weapon will open a gateway that only opens once every million years. So it's a lot of this, like, it's like space opera mumbo jumbo, and it's all, you know, like, it's all obviously, made up, but you really feel like, oh, this is really high stakes when they say stuff like, oh, it's, this gate only opens once every million years, and it also this is also explaining the connection to Eric the Red as
Yes, I
well.
like that.
So
Finally
it's
find out what it's all
really
about.
filling in so many gaps for the reader, including you and I, because we've been wondering like this whole time, like, who's Eric the Red? Yeah, how is this all connected? And then on the next page, the flashback continues, and we do see they explain like, oh well, Eric the Red was manipulating Havoc and Polaris and Juggernaut and Black Tom and Magneto. So it was all part of one grand scheme.
Yeah.
Really cool. Really cool. And then, so interestingly, with the bi-monthly schedule,
Yeah.
everything that they just explained in a page and a half, that was 2 years worth of story that they condensed down to a page and a half. Yeah, with the bi-monthly schedule, I think that's like 12 or so, 11, 10 maybe issues.
Yes, which is almost 2 years.
But they condensed it all down to a page and a half of a comic, which I think cool. Like, that's amazing. It's amazing. And then, they explain halfway down this page that there's these 9 Death Stars, they call it, that have to align in the sky to then, once they're in this cosmic alignment, that's what is going to trigger this Macran crystal to open a portal to something that we don't know.
Don't know what.
Yeah.
But I just love they're called Death Stars. You know it's serious because they're Death Stars.
Exactly. Yeah, and you kind of like, what does that mean? Is that just they call them Death Stars in the Shi'ar culture because they know that, well, when they align, they may not be Death Stars right now, but once they're in alignment, oh boy, are they ever Death Stars.
And over here is the Life Stars.
Right. Yep.
When they align, it fixes everything. All I have to say about this, you find out all this about Eric the Red, and he was all doing this. So you're like, oh, so the whole Eric the Red thing's over now because he's back in the Shi'ar Empire. So it's like, yes, Polaris, will she get rid of that horrible costume? So yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It was a pretty bad costume. I have to say, like of all the costumes that Polaris has had, like, this one doesn't suit her. It looks more like something out of like a Doctor Strange, comic or something like that. So cool. Yeah, okay, that was I agree with you.
The Death Stars and her costume. So we got more fighting and
back to the battle.
I love this. This is like a hint at Wolverine's future brown costume.
Yeah, the brown and tan costume. Yes. I thought that this costume, where he's taken the costume of the Imperial Guard called Fang, who is a similarly kind of, he's kind of like a Wolverine-esque character. Yep. But this made me wonder, like, I wonder if they've ever done like a variant action figure of Wolverine in this costume, because that would look really cool. That would look so cool. So again, really Marvel, cool, if you're listening, Marvel Consumer Products, do it now.
Yes, agreed.
I love this guy. I don't know whether he's named in this issue, but the guy with the guy who's punching Wolverine out in panel 4 at the bottom left.
Yeah, I'm looking for his name now.
Where he's kind of got this Starfield type thing going on his skin. that's such a cool looking thing
Yeah.
where
Yep.
the areas of shadow are actually sort of like look like you're looking into some kind of galaxy or something. I don't know
Yeah.
what that's actually supposed to represent, like whether it's just supposed to be like shiny black sparkly type, you know, um
Um.
texture, or whether it is supposed to look like just sort of this cosmic, I don't know, energy or
Yeah. Well, I've seen the effect used before, and it
mm-hmm.
was to in that particular it was symbolizing energy, like raw energy. Think
Mm.
Captain Atom without his suit.
Yeah, yeah,
That kind of thing, just
exactly.
pure energy, and he's somehow containing it in his form.
Yeah.
Bit like Wonder
I,
Man.
yeah, yeah. I think that could be the case with this guy because he does look like he's one of those, he's a big bruiser type looking
Yeah.
character. So that would sort of make sense with his with what I assume to be his powers and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just like that character design.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
There's just like there's not really a bad character design in this whole issue. It's
No.
all like it's just hit after hit after hit. Um, it's great stuff. I love it.
And in panel 3, Brainiac's got back. I mean, Mentor's got back up from being hammered by Cyclops.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a name for him. I'm not seeing a name. I'm looking carefully and I can't see anything. The electrical guy and the fire guy talk to each other, so we find out their names. Well, the fire guy we already knew. But
Yep.
yeah, they don't really talk to the bruiser, who just seems to be punching.
Yeah.
And this, woo! It's almost there. We're almost there. I love that this guy who's kind of like Cyclops and Cyclops go up against each other and smash each other down through
Yes.
their eye
Yes.
beam. It's like, oh, cool.
Yeah, this guy doesn't have a name either, as far as I could tell. Like, they didn't name him in the comic. It's just another Imperial Guardsman.
Yeah.
And yeah, they do the classic, like, I beam to I beam, and they take
Yeah.
each other out. Very cool.
But again, Gladiator's powers mustn't be like fully fleshed out yet, because it just takes a gun
Right.
to take them out. And
Yes.
unless it's some like
yes.
really special gun that's designed just for Gladiator, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the Gladiator I know could have ended this fight by himself.
Right. Right.
So yeah,
It must. This must be a case that they've only just introduced him,
yeah,
and they haven't sort of really worked. At this point, he's just like, I assume he's like the leader, because I think they do reveal like in future issues that
yeah.
he's the leader of the Imperial Guardsmen. And I think clearly he's set up as kind of the leader in this issue, but the powers is very indistinct at this point. But
Maybe he's not feeling very confident.
What's that?
That's his weakness. No, maybe he's not feeling very confident. That's his weakness.
That's
his kryptonite.
Self-confidence, low self-esteem is his weakness.
Yeah. So if he doesn't feel confident in his powers, he loses them.
Right.
It's the weirdest thing. It was in one of the X-Men comics. Cannonball makes him doubt himself, and all of a sudden he's not strong anymore.
Is that really his weakness?
Yeah. His confidence gives him his powers.
That's interesting. Huh.
That's It's weird, isn't it? I remember that I only found that out in that issue where Cannonball bluffs him. He thinks a punch that should have killed anyone, and he survives it. And he's like, "Oh, I'm not as strong as I thought I was." And all of a sudden, his powers start decreasing.
That's cool. I actually really like that concept.
Yeah,
it's a really cool idea.
Yeah, and then
I did not
Cannonball
know that.
punches him.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, something else that's cool is the final panel of this page. Some laser beam force blasts come from off panel, and we do the old speech balloon being spoken by someone we don't see, prompting you to turn the page, and da-da-da-da. Look at these guys. Starjammers.
How cool are they?
What a great page. Like, can you imagine like owning this page of original art? Like what a just what a brilliant piece that is. It looks fantastic.
It does.
Yeah, so here's where I wrote down, like, because coming to this, like, I didn't know, even though it said it on the cover, like the Starjammers,
Yeah.
I didn't really pay attention to the cover so much, like the
The
blurb,
words, yeah.
the wording on the bottom. I was just like, oh, okay, big battle. And then, so this was a real surprise to me, and it
Oh,
really
you're so
made
lucky.
me go like, oh my God, this was the point where I was like, oh my God, how many characters is Dave Cockrum drawing in this issue?
Mm-hmm.
So I counted it, and new characters, he's got 25 new characters who we've never seen before,
Wow.
including the Starjammers and going back to that page 2 and 3
Oh
double
yeah.
page
All of
spread.
them.
Total is 25 characters. And then on top of that, you've got the X-Men. So this is like just such a phenomenal feat for any artist.
Yeah.
And no wonder he needed, extra time to finish this, because this is massive. It's massive.
Yeah, just designing some of these characters would have taken a lot of time. Otherwise, drawing
Yeah,
them in the action.
exactly. One thing I love about the Starjammers is that not only are they visually distinctive, like they're all
Mm.
different shapes. So even if they were just in silhouette, you can tell really easily who each one is.
Yeah.
But Claremont also gives them each like distinct speech patterns. I think like, so the Starjammers, for our viewers who don't know who they are,
Oh yeah.
we've got in the top left corner is Chod. He's the big lizard-looking guy, or
Yep.
frogman type looking guy.
Extremely
And then
strong.
if you go down to sort of just below him, there's a cybernetic looking guy with a big top knot hairdo coming out of the top of his head. His name's Raza. And then in the foreground in red, that's
Mm.
Corsair. And then in the lower left corner is Hepzibah, and she's like the skunk cat looking lady.
Yeah.
And then there are actually more Starjammer characters, but they haven't been introduced yet, so we won't
Oh, okay.
talk about. There's like a couple more characters, I think. I again remember from the Handbook of the Marvel Universe,
Oh, yep.
the Starjammers entry had like a couple more characters, and I was like, oh, but where's so-and-so and where's this? But I
Yeah.
guess they haven't been introduced yet, so we can talk about them in a later issue.
Yes.
But yeah, what an entrance too. Like, this is the best way to do like an entrance of a new character, is page turn to full page spread.
Ooh,
I
yeah.
mean, like full page splash image. It's really utilizing the comic, the device of the comic page turn and the page real estate to get maximum visual impact to the reader. So again, top marks, Cockrum and Claremont.
Yeah. What I love about this page is we know who the Starjammers are, and we're excited about
Right.
this page. So imagine the people in the 70s who come to this. It's like, who are these guys?
Exactly. You get so much bang for your buck
Yeah,
in
this is just crazy.
1977. Like, this is like, and it's not even like a double size issue or anything. This is just a standard like monthly issue of the regular comic, or bi-monthly, I should be
Oh,
correct
yeah.
in saying, because it's still not monthly at this
Still
stage.
not monthly yet.
But yeah, like, that's why this is like got to be one of the all-time great issues, just because it's just such a like a blockbuster kind of,
Yeah, that's the best
it's,
way to describe it.
yeah, so much bang for your buck. It's great.
Big time. And then you find out
Um,
they're the good guys.
yeah, so they're actually reinforcements. They've come to help Lilandra and the X-Men fight back against this overwhelming force of the Imperial Guard, which is what you were mentioning earlier. That it's like these 6 characters going up against 20 something, 28
like
characters or something. Yeah, so it's like more than like 3 times their number. So yeah, the Starjammers come to try and help out, and they actually turn the tide of the battle by the end, like very quickly.
Very quickly.
In one page, really, they turn the tide of the battles, because at the bottom of this page it says, and suddenly the battle's all over.
Yep, before they know it, the fight's all over.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, this was so action-packed, but even after it's all ended, it's still cool to find out what the hell's going on.
Yeah, you kind of need this little bit at the end to just catch your breath and be like, oh, that's the cool thing about the way Claremont paces his stories is he goes action, 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 but then he drops in the reaction of the characters to the action that just happened. And so it gives the reader a chance to catch their breath, but it also builds the characters of, it builds the personalities and fleshes out the personalities of the characters in the story, and we get to see how they react to what just happened. And I think that's what gives the story its depth, and ultimately that's what readers responded to. And I think that's part of the reason why the X-Men became the number 1 comic of Marvel during Claremont's run, is because of the way he injected the personalities into these characters between the battles.
Yeah, because you end up loving the characters, not just loving all the action. You love the characters. You want to see things for them, and
absolutely.
And so the crazy guy at the end, the last panel.
Yeah, Decan. Yeah, so it's interesting. Like, we kind of forgot about the ringleader of this whole thing, Decan. He appears at the top of this. I don't know what you call it, like a structure that houses. It sort of houses the Macran crystal, which is the, this power source of this big weapon. And and he's like, hey, remember me? Like, I still made it. I still made it. Woo! Another thing on this page before we go to the next one is Jean does Discovery. A mind scan of Corsair, and she's almost rendered like incoherent by what she finds out, which we're going to find out about. What she actually did find out is revealed in the next issue.
Yeah, next issue.
But I just like she's got this thought balloon at the bottom of panel 4, where she goes, "No, it can't be." But okay, Scott, no. Unless that was supposed to be, "Oh, Scott, no," and a lettering correction turned it into "okay," because "okay, Scott, no" to me is kind of incoherent. So it makes her seem.
I think it's meant to be
like,
That's the impression I got from it. That she was like, "What's going on?"
She just can't even put words together.
It is him, but I love how it's in smaller fonts. You can really get you get that feeling that she's like,
yeah,
I can't think.
One thing I really like in comics is when they reduce the font size to signify, like, it's almost like lower volume, even though it's a soundless medium. Reducing the font size then, or enlarging the font size means it's louder, and then reducing it means it's softer in terms of the volume. I always like that with the lettering.
Yeah, and
we've got. What's that?
I instinctively did that. It was lower volume in my brain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what's awesome about that visual device is you get it immediately.
Yeah.
For some reason, like, you just get that, this is at a lower volume, which is really cool. It's one of the great things about comics.
Yes. So many things that are great about comics.
Yep.
Next page.
True. Yeah, which
Where
is
it all
the
gets
final
crazy.
page of this issue. So Deken is now explaining, like, oh, you're too late. The Death Stars are aligning.
Sorry.
And then it's kind of like things just go crazy at this point. Like, because they all kind of forgot about the big bad, this guy.
Yeah.
And he points out that, well, too bad, suckers. I win. The cosmic gateway is about to open. And then, so then what happens is all of reality blinks. Like they say, it blinks, and
It
you
actually says
actually
blink.
have
I love that.
it written in a sort of sound effect on the panel. It's that panel 5. All existence goes blink. And then Dr. Peter Corbeau, who's the space shuttle pilot who took them into space issues ago.
Swam a really, really long swim.
That's right. Yeah, he's Professor X's friend.
What a man. What a man this man
swam
is.
230 miles or whatever it was. It's crazy to get back to land. But he's up in his satellite, in the Starcore satellite, and he experiences it first. And so then he gets on to the Fantastic Four to say, like, hey, did you guys feel this on Earth? And so they're all freaked out. And the issue ends with a portentous warning where he's basically, saying, like, if this happens again, like, we don't know what's going to happen. Like, this could tear the whole universe apart. So now we really do get a sense of
what's going on.
The stakes, because they've related it back to Earth and the Fantastic Four, and it kind of, ties it back to the wider Marvel universe as well. Gives it that, like these crossovers between the different comic characters when they'd show up in each other's titles. That's what sort of made the Marvel universe seem so cohesive and all of one, like, where it's all one continuity that we're just seeing little bits of. So yeah, and then and now Armageddon is what the next issue is going to be. So, no big deal, just Armageddon.
Oh, sorry, my computer's just gone crazy.
Oh no, your computer went blink.
It went blink. I don't know what it's doing. It won't let me press things. Okay, there we go. And I think my face just lit up.
Yeah, you're lit by
Yes, I'm still here, because this screen disappeared. I didn't know what was going on. Okay.
Oh.
Yes, so Armageddon. I just love he's sweating and he's...
Yeah, he looks really freaked out.
The universe is going to die.
Exactly.
Like, okay, this is kind of serious.
Exactly.
Peter's saying it's serious. Peter knows what he's talking about.
Yep. So yeah, what a cliffhanger to end on, and what a great lead in to the next issue, which is the first John Byrne issue.
Oh, I was going to leave that as a surprise, but yes.
Oh, okay.
Too late now. It's all good. It's all good.
Just edit that. Just edit that part out.
Yeah. No, it's all good. We'll leave it in there. What I find really cool... Oh, no, I won't say that, because it's on the very last page of the next comic, but it relates to the fact that this is the last comic he draws. So it's really funny that it's on the last page.
No, I know what you're talking about. Let's talk about that when we do the next episode.
We'll talk about it when we get to it. But I found that hilarious, the wording.
Yeah, that was very funny. I thought the same.
But yes, so that's the end of this issue. So we're up to the part where we ask Matt for a band name, or he'll probably give us 2 or 3. If Matt is
two choices.
Two choices.
Give you two choices here. So the first choice has to be the Starjammers.
Oh, yes. That's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah. I think that's it, but I will give you another choice.
You'll give me another choice?
Which is a more kind of like a little bit more out there type band name. I can't remember who says it, but on page 3, the phrase "years beyond number" was in there, and I thought, oh, that's kind of a cool band name. But so I'll give you the choice. Yeah, I think it's somewhere there.
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere, it's either the narration or
just believe you.
yeah, just believe me. I'm not going to lie about this.
It's an easy choice. It's Starjammers. It's got to be Starjammers. That's an awesome band name.
Starjammers. Absolutely. And
I want to see a concert with those guys and girl. Sorry, rocking on. I reckon Corsair could be great. Like on guitar. I can see Chod on the drums. Just saying.
Yeah, that works for me. That's great.
So there. Well, so I could blabber on about all sorts of silly things like that, but I won't. That is the end of this episode. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
If you agree or disagree with anything we've said, whack it in the comments. We'd love to reply to you and just hear your thoughts on this particular issue, which I keep calling episodes. I just almost did it then. So if you think we're completely wrong or you think we're completely right or somewhere in between, put in the comments.
Let us know.
Remember to like and subscribe. You can't really see the like part. And share with your friends. Anyone you know who loves the X-Men. Even if they don't love the X-Men, they'll learn to love the X-Men by watching this show. So until next time, have a great time. And we are doing issue 108, still in 77. It's the last 77 comic for the X-Men. And have a great time. We did. So see you next time when we have a great time again.
Yep.
See you, Matt.
All right. See you next time, Siz.